Hello there, Dan. Here's the wonderful video that you requested we all get to make for you. So I just thought I'd give you a nice little introduction here on this Saturday morning, as I'm the only dedicated employee working in the office. So I'll start by kind of telling you some of the things I'm probably going to be showing you here. Initially, I'm going to talk about some programming stuff that I did with the safety camp and kind of how I was utilized there and different things that I had to do. And then I'm going to move into some marketing experience that I had with my skate park event that was originally scheduled to take place today, but due to the heat and humidity, we ended up rescheduling it for a couple weeks from now. So we had to go through with the initial marketing, the change in plan to reach out to everybody, and now advertising the new date and kind of replacing all of the flyers and places that we had it originally posted. And then lastly, I'm gonna probably have some video, or I'm going to have some video of me working on the Brooktree grounds crew, learning about some maintenance on a golf course setting and some different facility operations out there. So I hope you enjoy this lovely video. Alright, so here's one of the workstations that I sometimes utilize, and there's my email and some paperwork that I'm working on this morning. And it's in our conference room, our main conference room. This is where I got interviewed by 3 people. First time I was ever interviewed by more than one person, so that was a unique experience and a good experience in itself. There's my, lovely name tag and the way I get access to everything. Very handy. And then we'll take you out to the main office. Once again, I am the only dedicated employee here, gated in on a Saturday. There's our point of sale system. There's our main window. And here's our 4 workstations. I typically work at that one, or the one back in the corner. That desk back there is MJ's, and it's basically only MJ's. We do not touch that desk because you don't really want to upset MJ. Yeah, so I guess I do a lot of my programming and making phone calls and everything from in here, helping customers. It's kind of challenging sometimes in the sense that I have to get interrupted so frequently by customers or other people when I'm trying to make phone calls, or when everyone's all on the phone at the same time. It can get kind of loud in here. But that's just kind of some more introductory information to some of the places I work and kind of what it looks like here in the office in the old orphanage. So starting with the programming side of things, I was a counselor at a safety camp that Steele County hosted at the Steele County Fairgrounds and at Lake Colmeyer area. So some of the things that we did there is we learned about different, police, fire, just the different safety departments within the county, ambulance, first aid, or EMT, all different parts of the county were there providing different things that they do and how children need to approach safety. So basically my job was to be a counselor, so I went around with the group and helped keep things organized and herded kids basically all day, actually all 2 days. So it was really exciting in that sense. By the end of the second day, I was very excited to see some of the kids' as parents show up, needless to say. So where I got some programming experiences, I never really have worked this long of a camp, I guess, with just kids non-stop doing that kind of thing, other than just athletic camps that I've done in the past. So I got a lot of experience of what it takes to work with children, and kind of verified that I don't see myself having a future working with children. Not at least on a regular basis like this, or direct contact, maybe more just indirect contact with setting up programs. Anyway, so the work I had to perform was, like I said, I didn't have to do a lot of planning for this one. Some of my program planning will come into play later on with my Rec on the Go and movie in the parks and stuff like that. So I guess I should probably explain why I have a video of a helicopter that I had a highway patrolman fly his helicopter in, and just kind of show kids what a helicopter used by law enforcement looks like, some of the things it can do, some of the things that it can't do. Just different equipment on there as far as cameras, radar detectors, whatever they all use. So that that was what we did there, and I just helped kids get up to the helicopter, make sure they weren't hanging on anything they weren't supposed to hang on, or standing on anything they couldn't stand on, just once again herding the kids around. And also we see a photo of gun safety, photo of fishing safety, a photo at the fire department tearing apart a car, which kind of explained how paramedics would go in and remove someone if they couldn't move, or they're scared of a head, neck or back injury. They didn't. That's how they would approach taking a victim, or not a victim, but whoever, someone involved in an accident. That's how they would take them, remove them. So it was cool for me to see all that. Some of it I've already seen. Some of it was just a good reminder, and the whole time I had to, referring back to it, herd kids around, which was valuable experience to tell me what's really like and prepare me, if nothing else, if I for some reason decide to have kids in the future. That might be a mistake, but definitely can be a handful and works on my patience. So some of the skills that I utilized were, I guess, thinking more back to undergrad, I had some programming classes, and I just had to remind myself what it was like, what some of the skills were to approach working with children, and how to, I guess, not want to tear their heads off and still get them to do what you need them to do, and understand that they're not always going to do exactly what you want to do. So it was good, and I could pull on those classes, I guess, just to remind myself, okay, I've done this before in smaller aspects. I just need to keep taking it piece by piece and not get overwhelmed by the whole picture. And clearly the challenges were for me just to know exactly how I wanted to approach the groups, and not overwhelm myself, not upset the children more than I needed to get their attention. And I would say it was a pretty successful camp. We really had no issues in my group as far as beyond behavioral issues that weren't real extreme anyway. So it was a very successful camp. Things I learned, like I said earlier, I do not feel like I am going to be a programmer directly for children full-time at all in my future. That just could not be me. I'd much rather be the operationals guy, setting up things on the side or behind the scenes for them, and making sure the facility was ready to go, and organizing a crew to do that. That's more me, facilities or operations management. But it's like, also, once I mentioned earlier, so I'll get some more in-depth programming experience with setting up my Rec on the Go activity and actually running that myself, being in charge. And the movie in the park that I just hosted last night went okay. Lots of issues there getting started with understanding equipment and not having enough direction, but I got it on. Everyone had a good movie, so we survived that. So look for some more information on programming in depth coming up in the last critical analysis, or when you come and meet with me on site. Looking forward to that. All right, so now we'll move on to talk about my marketing at the skate park event. Good morning, coming at you live from the Owatonna Skate Park this morning to talk to you about some marketing that I have done for this event that I'm going to be holding here in another week. So for this video, I'm just going to kind of walk around, show you some of what the facility looks like, as far as the BMX area over here. Just all dirt, and then it's paved, the rest of it in the skate park, as I kind of talked to you about some marketing stuff that I've done. And I also have a sample of the flyer that I used for this event. So basically, kind of I guess we'll go through the list as far as major occurrences that have happened related to marketing so far that I've dealt with. The skate park flyer, another flyer for the movie in the parks and advertising that. And then also starting to put together flyers for my Rec on the Go event. That's my major project, and kind of working with other people to get these advertised in all the right places, or all the places that they typically utilize. So yeah, here I'll just kind of show you around the park a little bit here. Pretty nice skate park, could use a little resurfacing. Unfortunately, that's one of those projects that kind of falls by the wayside, of course, but yeah. Anyway, so some of the work performed, I helped put the most important information into the flyer that I felt needed to be in the flyer for the skate park event. And also, in order to determine that, I've looked at previous skate park event flyers that happened here, and kind of used that as a template, updated some information, talked with someone who had been involved, what went well, what went wrong, where should I improve, what should I change. So that's basically the most that I did for marketing so far. Well, I guess I should say as far as creating a flyer for that. And then I also had to work with other people in the office to kind of figure out where exactly are the best places to post advertisements, the more I get the most money, or the most bang for my buck, I guess, because they all have been here much longer than me and know kind of the right sources to use and the ones that are most reasonable for us to consider as a park and rec department. And I'm gonna have to do the same stuff with the movie in the park, rec on the go, all that. I need to make sure that I'm putting it in, good spots, getting, I guess, kind of tying it into my next part. Some of the skills I have to utilize is, that lovely Rec 520 class I took about a lot of numbers. I think they called it revenue management. Trying to just understand, what are the best channels or whatever you want to call it for marketing, and not spend unnecessary money. So you want to make sure you're smart with your money and spending it in the right places, and ensuring you're reaching your target market and understanding your target market's behaviors and tendencies or whatever to know where they're probably going to find the most information or most frequently. So yeah, that's primarily the skills I utilize. I did not have a lot of marketing background other than talking to my friend Lucy. She, helped me every once in a while with certain marketing things because for some reason she seems to understand that stuff. And kind of some challenges. So I wasn't really sure, other than just trying to think about, or as far as how to reach my target market, which obviously it's the skate park, skateboarders and BMX riders, which is going to be typically a younger crowd. So I kind of assumed social media would be a pretty good avenue to get the information out to them. But as far as other spots to put things around town, I wasn't real sure of where we could post stuff. So I kind of just had to listen to the ladies in the office again and be like, okay, well, where have you guys advertised in the past? And I talked to Dan, a guy who is part of a car club that is sponsoring this event, and he wanted to post some flyers too around town. So I said, yeah, no problem, and I printed him some out and handed them over to him so he could take care of all that. And I don't really know much about skateboarding and BMX, so as far as how to attract all these people to come out and come to the event, I was not 100% sure on, like I said, what to do. And then another challenge was we had to cancel the event because it was going to be too hot on June 10th. That was the 90-degree day with humidity that I'm sure you are well aware of. So I had to quickly get all the rescheduled dates out there, cancel the event, make sure everyone was aware. And still, I got a call that morning from one of the grounds crew workers that was trying to drop off tables that we needed for the event. And I guess I didn't quite get everything covered, which is a good lesson for in the future, to make sure I not only think about the participants, but the staff that are going to be involved with setting up or tear down or any of that. But we were able to get all the reschedule notices out there, reprint things, post it to our website, post it on social media, kind of get everything covered. And now we'll be able to see how successful we were come January, well, that's a long time from now, June 24th, when the event's supposed to take place. So hopefully it's all a success. So leading into successes, some of the successes we had, we were really confident in the flyers that we were able to put together. I thought they looked really good. I'll give you an example here at the end. And then I think utilizing the website, that's just a standard. You have to basically post it there. You're dumb not to, because our website has this list of events, and I'm sure a lot of parents, people, whatever, if they're curious what's going on, go to that website. And then for the most part, then social media is probably the biggest or most successful channel at reaching people, especially reaching people especially of this demographic or target market of skateboarders and BMX riders, because like I said earlier, they're younger people typically, and they more than likely have social media, and if they follow any of this stuff or their friends happen to share it or post it or whatever, they're more than likely going to see it and hopefully pique their interest. So some things I learned is just basically use your resources when it comes to marketing. So if a person like me who is probably dumb in marketing or is dumb in marketing, it's good to use your resources. Talk to people around you that have experience, and not necessarily delegate, but work with them to make sure you get a good good flyer together. Use the right areas for advertising, and then so then also going off that, not just use the right ones, but sometimes you just gotta advertise to a wide variety of plans or places, rather, even if you don't think that they're necessarily the exact place where this target market might be. I think it's still good to branch out a little bit and try to reach a wider market, but at the same time, don't go to all these unnecessary places that are really far stretches out there. So you just kind of have to find that happy medium of stretching the boundaries but not stretching them too far. So here I'm going to show you, lastly, I'm just going to show you an example of the flyer that we created, if it doesn't blow away. So, yep, as I said, so there you can see just some photos we created on there, and then it says the date, rescheduled from June 10th, and then we still have a rain date on there in case it rains, which hopefully that doesn't happen. And then just kind of list out the skateboard, the BMX, and registration times, age groups, everything. And then I don't think we said anything about prizes, or yeah, prizes, yep, prizes at the bottom. And then the judges that it talks about at the bottom as well, those are lined up by the car club, so that's really nice because I don't know where I would find judges for a skate park event. And the MC, that'll be me, myself, and I talking about the event, so that'll be really fun. And then just at the bottom we list the sponsor because they are giving us a lot of help. So this is the flyer that we were able to create with our little symbol on the top, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this event goes. Today I'm out at the golf course, driving around from green to green, poking holes in dry areas, trying to get water to absorb in there better and recreate some growth or stimulate some growth. So it's a super exciting day so far because I get to be outside and I'm not in the office, and I'll have some more video to follow with some other things that I get to do as well. Last but certainly not least, I worked with the golf course grounds crew, as I showed you driving around in the cart. That was a very difficult start to my day, just cruising around. But then I did get to, which was fun, work on a couple sprinkler heads and learn a little bit about irrigation systems. So that, as far as facility operations and maintenance, that was my new experience, the major occurrences for this period. I was able to just work on the golf course, which I have worked on the golf course before, but I've done nothing with irrigation or sprinkler heads or any of that. So that was basically that was in the 2 days I worked there. It rained a lot, but this was the biggest experience I got to do. That took up a good chunk of one morning, actually basically all of one morning. So we dug out a couple sprinkler heads, started by cutting the sod, as you can see in the video, and then after we dug that out, we dug all the dirt and sand and everything out and removed the old sprinkler head and got down to what was a metal pipe down on the bottom, or a metal connection. And then our boss came, not the boss, but like the head of the grounds there came out and cut off this old metal piece, replaced it with a movable plastic piece, which he put on the movable one because with frost, sometimes it would push the cap off or the head off of a sprinkler. Now with this movable plastic one, it allows it to move more easily and doesn't cause issues, which makes a lot of sense with the lovely Minnesota winters. So I got to learn a little bit about that and logic behind that. And then we went ahead and put on the new sprinkler head, and I got to spin that on there and see how that tightens up and what it feels like to kind of make sure it's in the right place. And then I went and wired the sprinkler head into the system, which basically it was just two wires, and I put wire nuts on them, twisted the wires together, bent them over to make sure they were together and they weren't going to come apart. And kind of with that, there was a bit of a challenge. Okay, so there's water in the hole, and water is going to be flowing through there, and it's more than likely going to get wet at times. So to try to keep electrical dry, you had to use these special plastic sleeves that the wire nuts and wires slide into to insulate or keep the connections dry to prevent issues. So that was another thing I got to learn. I really enjoyed that, kind of figuring all that out. But in the end, it was very successful. We had a nice 2 sprinkler heads level in place. Got everything packed down in, put the sod back down, packed that in, drove over it so it was still mounted up a little bit to allow for it to settle. But in the end, everything looked well, and I really enjoyed learning about, I guess, irrigation and sprinkler heads. It was a good thing because no matter where I work, if it's any sort of park or large athletic complex or anything, I'm more than likely going to have a sprinkler system or irrigation system of some sort. So that pretty much is a wrap on my video.